good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world, a very warm welcome to Silver Tent TV. I'm your host, Siobhan Reardon, along with my dog Elsa, and we know sometimes she can join in and we just go with it. The Silver Tent is a global online platform for women over 50. It's a place to come and be supported and nourished in terms of pursuing those dreams that are yet to be realised. And it's also a platform for sharing women's wisdom out into the world. With that in mind, I'm delighted to welcome the beautiful and wonderful Risa Ferreira. Very warm welcome to you, Risa.
Thanks, Siobhan. Great to be here.
Risa is very well known as a storyteller. She's been doing it for decades. She's part of the Wisdom Keepers in terms of the stories that she shares in the world. She runs women-only events and along with her husband, her gorgeous husband, runs mixed gender events as well. Risa also has a one-to-one service, Resonance Lived, where she supports people to find their voice in the world. And a new program, new 9-month program is coming online in November, and discovering our multifaceted voices. Before we get to that program, Risa, let's start with you and learn a bit more about your story and your story in the world.
Well, I think that I come from a line of storytellers. I have my parents' Italian and Irish backgrounds, and growing up, the reasons for doing things or not doing them was always a story. So I grew up with it. And then I was fascinated with theater and creating this, fantasy world and having this space where anything was possible. And then I realized that words could make that happen. And for a long time, it was writing that was my passion. And then performing the writing became my passion. So when I discovered storytelling, I didn't have to wait for someone to stage a play. I could do my own writing as my piece. So that was great. And Steve and I, my husband, we did it together. So tandem tellers, male and female, it gave us a great audience. And I realized that story was it. And then story wasn't it anymore. It was sound. It was the shape of sound and the way the cadence was. And then it went from there to what was within the sound. And when I discovered resonance, I felt like a summer day had exploded inside of me with just the rays of the sun moving outward. And I knew that that was a core of me, resonance. And I started working with people with that.
Beautiful. I just want to pick up that thread there. So we know that life is made up of energy. Science and physics and quantum physics tells us that life is made up of energy. And where does resonance fit in for those of us that are new to that word or that concept? What is resonance?
So resonance is the core within. So we have a perception that voice and anything that we talk about with voice is about sound as we hear it with our ears. But the truth of life, if we really think about it, when you step out the door from where you live into nature or the street, wherever it may be that you are, your perceptions begin with your skin and move to every sense you have. And within each of those perceptions is resonance. So it is that vibratory piece, and the word vibratory doesn't even do it justice, because sometimes we feel it as if our blood moves. We've all heard people say, oh, that made my blood boil. What did? The resonance of the moment. We sometimes meet an old friend and we feel something that we haven't never felt with them before. It might be a passionate response. It might be anger. It might be love. And we realize in that moment that the connection has passed through all the layers to the essence of who we are, where we hold our own resonance. And that resonance is now communicating with that person. And humans make it very complicated. We've got a lot of layers. We have bodies, all these different things. When you go out in the world, the flower doesn't care. It reaches with its resonance so that you can respond. And that's the beauty of that way we bend to smell the flower or to touch it. All of those things are the manifestation of resonance. There's research that's being done now in the fields of quantum physics to explore resonance further, and how do we quantify it and qualify it, because it doesn't necessarily have shape. When I work with people, I tell them it's like a Tootsie Pop. So in the United States, a Tootsie Pop has a hard outside and a nougaty inside. And so the hard outside is how we print everything. It has to be perfect and we have to do this. But inside is that delicious ooze that actually fills every crack in us. That is the resonance.
I love that. And you made me think about the connection when we talk about alchemy, don't we? When two souls come together, there's an alchemy. And I realized, oh, that's the resonance interacting with each other.
Exactly.
So tell me about discovering our multifaceted voices. This is as I say, a 9-month program. What inspired it, and tell me a bit about the program.
Well, actually, you and I were talking. That was the inspiration. I had this idea that there was something coming, especially in the way the world has been over the last few years, and people really wanting to find something that they can do as a support to the world that they envision, and not being detrimental to anyone else. And I was talking with you, we're talking about different things and how, sometimes you feel something and all of a sudden I thought about how a voice is a manifestation of the essence. So not necessarily vocal, but the actual manifestation of our essence as individuals can have so many facets to it that we are prescribed by society to choose one facet and stay there. I'm 63 years old. It's time to uncover all of the facets and let them work in harmonics together. So I thought, oh, this is great. It would be like a rebirth, 9 months. Get 4 other people so that there's 5 total, because for me, 5 is a number of chaos, and chaos is the beginning of creation for me. And I started talking to other people that I perceive have found many of their own facets, and they were even excited about possibly looking for new facets that they could then incorporate into what they already do. And all of that together just was another sunburst inside of me. And I went, okay, this is it. And so I started working on it. And I hear it. Hear is not a good word in this sense, because people automatically think the ear. I hear it in my heart. It's this beautiful song. I use all sound imagery, I realize. So I had major surgery 18 months ago, and as I was coming out of the anesthesia, the vision I had was of this huge heart in the distance, but I was way deep beneath the earth, and the heart was glowing and it was singing. But as I came closer, I realized that it was all individual hearts. And I heard that this was the heart of the universe. And so I feel that that's what this discovering your multifaceted voices is about, is our connection to that heart of the universe, and to take our place and to be able to hold it, because that's the way we resculpt the world.
Beautiful. And already the resonance of your voice, you have me hypnotized almost. And it is very powerful, that concept of resonance, isn't it? Somebody was asking me, I have an amazing dog in my life, and whenever people meet Elsa, They're in awe of her. And they were asking me about the training that I'd done with her. And I realized, I call it love reinforcement training. There's positive reinforcement training. And I believe I've taken it a step further. And using my voice and my sound in particular. And I realized the love sound that I use with her actually is coming through my heart chakra. It was never conscious. But why does she respond so beautifully? And I realize it's that resonance that comes through the heart chakra. She gets it. This is about love.
Yes.
So I took one of the spots. I've signed up already. What can I expect when we begin our journey in November?
Well, I divided the 9 months into 3 segments. So in the first segment, we come together to begin our exploration. So there are tools, there are meetings with people who have discovered some of their facets already and how they're incorporating them in their life or how it changed their lives. There'll be exercises on directional pieces to be able to explore things that you might not ever have thought of. There will be uncomfortable moments and there will be extremely comfortable moments. And together we'll support each other in that journey. And the second phase, we're going to begin our experimentation. And the experiments will be about how do we take what we gleaned from those first 3 months and start bringing it in and assimilating it so it can become part of us. And as we do that, we're going to find ourselves bringing back more information to the group so that we can share. And that part of this makes us a community because we are moving together, even though we might be moving in different directions, our nexus is where we meet. And so this becomes that bonding time where we're bonding to the pieces coming into us and also with one another. And then the last 3 months will all be about applying. So how do we apply our essence to the world? How do we use all this now and formulate this plan? And for me, I'm a Gemini, so plans are very loosey-goosey, right? So when I say plan, I'm really talking about, oh, it's my turn to choose the direction. Let's go left. That's what I'm talking about. To have that confidence to stand up and say, it's left this time, or it's right this time, or up, whatever it is, and move forward. So those are the end of all 9 months is the presentation to one another of our individual multifaceted voices that express our essence. And for me, I am just a light with how grateful I am to be at the inception of this process. So I'm really looking forward. I'm so excited that you're going to be with me, Siobhan, and I'm looking forward to the other 3 people who will join us.
Yes, me too. And I love the idea of the trimesters as well, as a way of birthing our voices in the world. So what we'll do is we'll put the information in as to how people contact you. Places are restricted, so if you're inspired from what you've heard from Risa today, then I would recommend that you move quickly. Thank you so much for coming and telling us about it.
Siobhan, thank you so much. I'm very grateful.
Wherever you are in the world, if the sun isn't shining in your skies, may it shine in your heart. This is Siobhan and Elsa signing out.